Hello, this is Blake Angelos from Yamaha Synthesizers here at Believe in Music 2021, and I'm pleased to announce two new additions to the YC series lineup, the YC73 and the YC88 that you see in front of you here. These two products join the YC61 to give you even more options in a versatile stage keyboard. Now, before I get into any further detail, I'm going to play a little jam for you. All the sounds that you're about to hear, with the exception of the bass and the drums, were from this YC88 right here. So check it out. I want to point out that I used just the YC88 and Cubase to create that entire song. In Cubase, I used two virtual instruments. I used Halion 6 for the bass, and I used Groove Agent 5 for the drums. But the other tracks, those are all from the YC88. I recorded the MIDI first and then rendered the audio. So the other sounds in there were a couple electric pianos in there, a couple of organs in there. There was a brass section, a flute section, a synth pad. All of those sounds came from the YC88. I want to point that out because the YC series has audio and MIDI connectivity with a single USB cable. So if you're playing live, you can play virtual instruments from a single YC series keyboard. You can use it in a music production environment, record MIDI and audio, super versatile stage keyboard. Now I want to talk about the three different product categories in the synthesizer department. We basically have the CP series, the YC series, and synthesizers. Each of these products appeal to a different type of musician. With the CP series, that's a piano-focused instrument. CP73 and CP88 have dedicated acoustic piano section. It has a dedicated electric piano section with 2 different stomp box style effects, and it has a subcategory section for things like backing pads and strings and so on. But the main point here is it is a piano-focused instrument. You have a full complement of premium grand and upright pianos, of electric pianos, and so on. Piano focus. That's the CP series. This is a little different with the YC series. YC series is a versatile stage keyboard because it has 3 different tone generation technologies. You have VCM for the vintage drawbar organs and the rotary speaker effect. You have FM for the combo organs and a cool sine wave organ. But you also have FM synthesis for synth leads, synth pads, and that classic FM electric piano sound. This is true 8-operator FM synthesis in the YC series. Finally, you have AWM2 for all the other sounds, the acoustic pianos, the electric pianos, string sections, brass sections, but there's a whole lot of different sounds in the YC. This is why it is such a great versatile stage keyboard. It's perfect for organists, keyboardists, and pianists that want to have a little bit more sound at their fingertips, but still have a nice one-to-one interface for a stage keyboard. Not super deep, but lots of different sounds. Super versatile. Synthesizers, that's where we're talking deep. Synthesizers you can edit at the element level, at the operator level. You can have control over all of that. You can have control over all the effects. There's lots of simultaneous effects that you have all this deep control over. It's all about in-depth editing and sound creation. You can create sounds that you've never heard with Montage and Modi X. They're all about depth. So those are the 3 different categories in the synthesizer department. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into the YC series. The YC series is designed around these 3 concepts right here. Great sound, great touch, and a cool design. For sound, again, we have those 3 different technologies: VCM, FM, AWM2. Everything sounds great, great effects. Sound is super important. It's the #1 thing that we care about as musicians, and this will deliver. It sounds great. As far as touch goes, you have 3 different keyboards in the YC series. The YC61 with waterfall key action, YC73 with balanced hammer, very lightweight at 30 pounds, so a nice lightweight action on that. And then with the YC88, you have the natural wood triple sensor action, graded hammer, synthetic ebony and ivory key tops. I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail in a moment, but that's the main thing. They all of them have a different touch. They appeal to different types of players. They all feel really awesome. Finally, you have this cool design. I love the design of this instrument. I love these little switches here. I love the drawbars. They have different LEDs behind them. This live set area that allows me to recall the front panel sounds at a touch of a button. Super, super one-to-one interface, so you don't have to dive into menus. You can change sounds on the fly, very easy. That's what I love about the design of this instrument. And all of them have this great aluminum alloy chassis on it, so it's very, very robust, but it still is. All 3 instruments are actually pretty lightweight, with the YC61 being right about 16 pounds, the YC73 being right at 30 pounds, and the 88 is right around 43 pounds, I think. So all fairly lightweight, but really killer design. So there are 3 different types of players for the YC series as well. You have the YC61 for organists. Why is it for organists? Well, at 61 notes and a waterfall style key action, which is very, very, that's the organ action right there. Organists will feel right at home with a YC61. With a YC73, well, this has our 73 E to E, so that's the size of the keyboard, but it uses balanced hammer. This type of action was designed to be lightweight but still be weighted action. It comes in at 30 pounds. So for keyboardists wanting to go to the gig, on the go, YC73 is a great choice. I love playing electric pianos from that action as well. It has a great electric piano style action on it. And then finally, with the YC88, well, you have the graded hammer, natural wood action. So it's graded, meaning it's heavier in the low end, lighter in the high end, but it also has this great triple sensor where you can re-strike the note before it comes off the key. So you have a very expressive pianist action. This is how a grand piano action feels, and man, this action feels great. This is the same action as the CP88, and man, everybody that plays that instrument is always blown away by how great it feels. Well, you're going to have that same experience with the YC88 as well. So for YC61 organists, YC73 keyboardists, YC88 pianists. Those are the three different types of keyboardists that we are appealing to. Now, here's a look at the three different keyboards right there. The YC61 is at the top, YC73 in the middle, YC88 at the bottom. The only real difference between these three products really is the key action. That's really about it. This is all the same. The sounds are all the same. The OS updates, all the same. So that's the main difference, are the key action and the key sizes. So let's talk about the different sections on the YC. You have an organ section right here. You turn these sections on right here with this cool little switch right here. So right now, the organ is engaged right there. Over here, you have two independent key sections right here. In fact, I will bring up a live set sound here that I call just Believe in YC. So there's nothing on right here, so you can see me turn these on. So there's the organ section right here, upper and lower manuals here. Turn on two different independent key sections right here. Each key section has two different effects specific to that key section. And then you have these effects right here. You have what I call the utility effect. You can route this to wherever you need it. You have a speaker amp section right here. You have reverb right here. And then you have a master EQ at the end right here. Very, very cool one-to-one style interface. One-to-one meaning that one button does one thing. You don't have to do lots of menu diving and stuff. You can edit things on the fly. I can turn on something here, disengage and engage effects. Super, super cool interface. So those are your sections right here. Organ, key section, and effects over here. Now let's take a look specifically at this organ section here. I'm going to pull up some live sets to make this easy. Again, what is a live set? This area right here allows me to recall front panel settings. So I just brought up my first sound that I want to show you in the organ section. So very, very simple to get through it. Over here, organ section, you have rotary speaker control that controls this rotary speaker effect over here. You also have a preamp drive here, 8 different drawbars with upper and lower manuals, vibrato chorus, 3 different levels of vibrato chorus, percussion, second and third percussion right here. These are specific to the VCM organs because these are things that you will find on a vintage drawbar organ. The FM organ doesn't have this, and the FM organ has just 8 drawbars because it's 8 operators. But let me play through these different organs to give you an idea of what they sound like. So first off, let's go through the VCM organs. So there's 3 different VCM organs in the YC series, H1, H2, H3. There are different types of organs that have been modified, or some are a little bit more played in than others. So the H1 is kind of your basic perfect condition. So I have this split right now. Here's my lower manual here. You can see it right here. And you'll see this button right here. I changed these drawbar settings so you can see the different colors in here. So you can see the red is going to be my lower manual, blue is my upper manual. So, and then I have it split point. You can set it right here, split. I have it set at F sharp 2, I think is where I have it. So I have sort of a comping thing on this hand over here. Now, I also have a foot switch down here. You can assign a foot switch to control the rotary speaker if I don't want to jump up and grab that. So check it out. See the slow and fast right there? So very easy to control that. But that's the H1 organ. Next up is the H2 organ. H2 is a little different. It's like a little bit more played in. So just a little bit different organ. I love this one for things like soul, R&B. Really dig that organ. H3 is more your rock organ, and I have that running through rotary speaker B. 2 different rotary speaker effects in the YC series. Rotary A is your basic rotary speaker. Rotary B is a rotary speaker with a transistor preamp in front of it, so I can get a little bit more drive. The thing I like about this H3 organ, it has a very interesting percussion sound. If I wanted to get, some really serious, I can go all manuals out and pull all the drawbars out right here, and then adjust. So I have a lot more drive if I want it that fast. Just bring down all the drawbars, turn up the drive, turn up the tone. One-to-one interface. I love that about this instrument. So those are the 3 H models. Next up is F1. F1 is our first FM organ. This one is just a pure sine wave organ, and I just love the sound of this. It's got a great low end because the FM doesn't have that fold back thing that you get with a vintage drawbar organ. It just is a pure sine wave, so you can get these really nice big bass sounds when you split the organ if you want to do that. But I just love this pure FM sine wave, especially running it through that rotary speaker effect. So that's the F1 organ. Next one is the F2 organ. So that's your basic 60s combo organ, one style of it. This one's kind of the more mellow British version. Next one would be more of the Italian version. This one has a little bit more of a sawtooth waveform kind of sound. So different types of organs. That's the F1 and F2. So there's your organ section right there. Super easy to get around. Love how this looks. Love how easy it is to get to things in here. So there's your organ section. So moving right along, let's talk about the keys section. In the keys section, you have keys A and B, and then 2 dedicated effects right here for those keys. The first sound I just want to play is just, you know, your basic CFX sound. Great full 9-foot concert grand piano. Another piano that's in this instrument is the C7. Totally different. C7 is a 7-foot 6-inch, I believe, is the size of it. It's probably the most recorded piano in the history of music. But I love this piano because it has such a really good, great for gospel. It has a nice hit to it, but it also has this really beautiful. It has this really beautiful soft level as well. Now I have 2 effects here that I've assigned to it. One is damper pedal resonance, and the other one is a compressor if I need it. I can turn it on and off. It gives me a little bit more control over dynamics. I can bring it up in the mix with that compressor. Again, that's part of what you get in the keys section in here. I'll move right along here. Another type of piano in this instrument is the U1 upright. That U1 is a definite character-rich. That's what we like to call it. It has that played-in sound. I just love that U1. It's such a gorgeous instrument. Great upright. So, moving right along in the keys section. Well, lots of different electric pianos in here. One of them, that's the 78 RD. Here's the 73. I actually use that one probably the most, but there's a really solid complement of electric pianos in this instrument to choose from. Again, other electric pianos, so those are your tine pianos. Here's your reed piano. I use that in the tune as well. Love how this sounds. I love especially this one, WR wide. You get 3 different reed pianos in here that you can choose from, along with the effects that you need for it as well. Other sounds in here. This is just a total FM. So right now it's an FM with a pad in here. I can disengage the pad by simply turning off that section. That's a true FM 8 operator electric piano. Another sound in here is just some cool lead sounds. Something that's cool about this instrument is that it actually has a mono mode and portamento. Very cool. Now I have a couple of effects in here as well. If I turn on just the B section here, I have two effects in here. One of them is a low pass filter right here. So I have that as an effect, but I also have this cool single knob filter control. And single knob EG control. There are 8 different levels for each of these, so you can have just quick control over how the sound, the timbre of the sound, and how it develops over time with the single knob. That is really cool. So, synth leads. Let me play a pad for you. I had this cool reverse reverb effect assigned to that pad that kind of just shows up. That's in, I believe, the keys B, R3. That's that reverse reverb. Really cool effect. That's so cool. So lots of different, again, this is what I love about this instrument, is that it's super versatile. Another thing, just... This is a sound that I call Spanish steel. I want to point some cool things about this sound out. I added a sine lead to this sound, but I have it kind of functioning as a pad. But then, a cool thing about the organ section that a lot of people don't really think about is you can use the organ section in a different way. So I'm using it as more of a backing pad. It's not right out front, but it has this cool sound to it, this cool pad-like, and I'm using the F1 organ, but check it out. You can hear it back there, especially when I turn up the rotary speaker. Isn't that cool? Another thing I love about this too, I'll play with the piano here. Let me go back to my CFX piano. And I do the same thing with the piano. In this case, I have the H1 on this on the piano, and I'll turn on the key section here. So I have CFX, a fat saw pad, and then the H1 organ. But again, that organ in this case is functioning as a backing pad. There's the rotary speaker, so you can hear it back there, but it's definitely back behind there. It's a great way to end a song with that rotary speaker in there. So again, a different way to use the organ. I turned on the sustain pedal to do that as well, which you generally don't have on the organ, but you can do that with the YC. So, lots of different sounds. I played tons of sounds in here. Instruments, synth sounds, tons of great sounds in this super versatile stage keyboard. Now, in the effects section, how effects work in the YC is pretty cool, actually. You basically have, in your keys section here, you have 2 different effects for each of your keys sections in here. You see key A and key B. So these are what we call section effects, right? Key A, 2 different effects here. Key B, 2 different effects here. Very, simple to see that. In the organ section, so some of the dedicated, I guess vibrato and chorus is a dedicated effect. Generally, the rotary speaker is somewhat of a dedicated effect, but that's a section effect is what we call this. Shared effects are more like what this effect is in here. So this effect can be routed to an organ, to a key A or key B, and there's one effect that's a looper delay that I can have them all happening. But primarily, I use this as a utility effect. One way I like to use this is if I grab something like an electric piano sound, and I'll grab one real quick here. So we'll take this RD73 sound. Now you notice over here I have lead, crunch, case, double, rotary A, rotary B. So these two effects are shared effects. This one I can route to where I want it to in this utility effect, right? And the other one, the speaker amp section, I can route to the organ, and that's where the rotary speaker goes, right? But in a key, in something like an electric piano sound, I might want to use case. Case is a model of a speaker and amplifier of an electric piano. So I kind of like this sound. It gives me a little bit more drive. In fact, in that tune that I played, you could hear the drive. I used that case effect to get that cool drive. But let's say I wanted to have a rotary speaker effect still for my organ for whatever reason, that I just want to have this organ here, but I don't have it available over here. Well, I do have it over in my organ category right here. And it's a simple rotary is what it's called. I'll go through it. There it is right there, simple rotary. But I can assign that to the organ section and still have a rotary speaker effect. Let me turn off my... There it is. With speed right here. And I can assign this very easily to something like, you can't see it on my screen here, but I can assign it to one of my controls. I have my pitch slider over here, and I have a modulation slider. So I can easily assign the rotary speed to that. So I have some capabilities with that utility effect. It's just ways to use effects differently in this super versatile stage keyboard. I love that about this instrument. Finally, with global effects, well, you have two of them. You have reverb. I have separate sends for each of my parts if I want to, so I can have a whole lot of reverb on my organ, but on the keys A here, I can have basically nothing. If I have it all illuminated, when I turn this, it turns up the reverb for all the sections. So you have all sections or individual sections at the touch of a button. Finally, you have a master EQ right here that you use as a global EQ. So those are your three effects: section, shared, and global effects. Now, one of the cool things about the YC series is that we have a semi-regular update schedule for YC OS updates. The first one comes out at launch with 1.1, but these are free updates. They give you new sounds and new features. So in this first update, which is called OS 1.1, you get some new acoustic pianos. And I want to play these real quick. I'll play you what you get. And I categorize these in, there's 4 new sounds in here, and I just put them in keys A and keys B, and I'll switch them on and off. So the first one is the Nashville C3. This piano, it's pretty loud right here. Let me turn it down. So this piano is a C3. A C3 is a 6'1" soundboard. It's a smaller grand. But the thing I love about this Nashville C3, it's similar to that U1. It's character rich. It's been played in. So it has this really great natural sound to it. I love it for things like country, definitely. Or for things like... Really great sound. That's the Nashville C3. Cool thing about this instrument is that it was recorded in Nashville at our Yamaha has a recording studio there for our artist relations group, has a recording studio. They recorded it there, and they recorded it using a tape-based system. So it has this it's been actually processed with analog tape. It has a really great mid-range and just a nice warm, wonderful sound. The other piano in here in B, so this is the Live CF3. This comes from the CP300. This was a very requested piano, so we added it with CPOS 1.1. Really, especially in the worship community, man, they love, and I get why, because it has this really great bright sound. It's just, I love it. CF3. So that's the Live CF3. Great for worship music, country, pop. Love that piano. Moving right along, we have 2 new Tyne pianos. 73 RD Studio. This one's great for... This one has a wonderful... It has this nice bell-like quality to it. So that's the 73 RD Studio that we add in OS 1.1. And then we have this one here. This is the 74 RD Stage. This is a totally modified tine piano. It has a custom preamp in it. It has different tines, different electronics, and it has this really serious... There's a nice bark to it, good low mid-range instrument. So 2 new tine pianos, 2 new acoustic pianos with CPOS version 1.1. So that is the new YC73 and YC88 complementing, finishing out our YC series, YC61, YC73, YC88. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you have any questions whatsoever, go to YamahaSynths.com. You'll see a lot more up there about these instruments. And once again, this is Blake Angelos from Yamaha Synthesizers at Believe in Music 2021. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.